Hello, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Brenda Lopez, one of the co-founders of my mentor Mark of the LA-US Hands Off Cuba Committee, and recently started a chapter here in Cleveland as well. Um, and yeah, I think like our main purpose with the committees is to educate people on the blockade and what this means for not only Cubans, but also Americans. You know, there's impact that happens on us too. Academics can't, share information or even have access to their information that is published in like major publications. Um, and then I think the other biggest component to that is taking people to Cuba and having them see and learn these things for themselves. Because I always say it's one thing to see and like read about these things, and like see stuff on the computer, and a whole other thing is to really experience it and talk to Cubans themselves and like, yeah, pick each other's brains about our realities. And so because of that, we've specifically been organizing labor delegations. Mike, who we saw the video of from the ILWU, was part of it. Amazon Labor Union joined us last year, and I hope, Justine, you join us this year. I'm excited to meet you in person. We had people from Unite Here, UTLA, the United Teachers of LA, UAW, Teamsters, and yeah, just different organizations and unions that join us for this multi-day CTC conference. And the CTC is a worker centrals union in Cuba, which is basically the main trade union federation there. So we have a conference with them that's a couple of days, and it's just a great opportunity to build international and national relations and build strategy together, and on top of that, build strategy together in an island that is already doing things very differently in the labor sector and other sectors as well, compared to the US. So yeah, overall, I think it's just a great opportunity for people, for unions to connect and yeah, work together and how to end the blockade and put pressure on our government. Besides that, we also are able to participate in the International Solidarity Conference in Cuba, which happens after the May Day rally in La Plaza de la Revolución. And you get to see millions and millions of people marching and just, yeah, showcasing their labor sectors and their pride in their work, because they have a lot of say in their workspaces in Cuba, and that empowers people. So yeah, we also get to be part of that. And then besides that, we visit political and cultural sites. We go to the Fidel Museum. We go to the Bellas Artes Museum, the Art Museum, the Museum of the Revolution, and the aquarium, as well as some other places. In addition, we get to meet and discuss issues with Cuban workers. We visit hospitals, schools, workplaces, and neighborhoods. So yeah, we really try to do a deep dive of like just all the different aspects of Cuban life and how they are affected by the blockade, because that is a huge reality in Cuba. And once you go to Cuba, you get to see the huge impacts and the challenges that the blockade causes on the island. And I can just say for myself, from my couple of visits, like each year it keeps getting worse. And so I think this work is really important. And being in Cuba, I feel like really ignites a lot of people's fires to like really commit to this work and make a difference, because as Mike mentioned, like these conditions are purely caused by US policies. And yeah, and they're totally like political retaliation. So it's it's also really cool just to see union people who aren't totally involved in politics just have their eyes open and seeing like the reality, how like these politics affect people's lives. So that's sort of like the main labor stuff. Besides that, we try to take medical aid, art supplies, and other easily accessible items to us, but not to Cubans, and just try to make it a reciprocal exchange. Like Cubans are super open and very sharing with the minimum resources they have, and so we also try to take stuff that whatever we can. In addition, this year, we were also invited to a conference happening in Guantanamo Bay against US military bases. And so hopefully we'll have a report back on that once we get back. Um, and so, yeah, that's sort of the overview of like what we do in these labor delegations. And once I'm done talking, I'll post some of that stuff in the chat, and hopefully they can share it with the people in the room as well, and ways to contact us if like any of this seems interesting to you. But I'll just finish up with some events that are coming up in case anybody will be in LA or is in LA. The LA committee is organizing with the DSA in Long Beach an electronics drive. So if you have any like used laptops, tablets, cell phones that you would want to send off to Cuba, please get in contact with us. And then for anyone in Cleveland on Earth Day, April 21st on Sunday, we're having a screening of Tarea Vida by Helen Yaffe, which will be virtual and in person. And so if you're interested in like participating in that, you can give us a follow on our Instagram to stay updated. And yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. I hope that if you have any interest, even if it's just to learn more, like you reach out. Cuba, to me, and I feel like to many people after they visit, is like this beacon of hope of like how things can be done differently in a way that is more supportive to like everyone in our society, not just a couple of rich people. So yeah, I appreciate the opportunity to be here.